No, you're lucky. What? And we are going to, where are we going?
Key Largo.
Key Largo. What's a Key Largo?
Key Largo has Jump Penacamp, which is a pretty big live coral reef showing, and also there is the Coral Castle, which seems to be pretty cool, so we're going to check that out.
We are checking it out. And here we are on the way to Key Largo. And here we are, going on a boat. That's right. How exciting.
Very excited.
Yeah. A bunch of strangers.
Upstart too.
Aggressive and most territorial fish out here. All our damselfish are relatively small in stature, only about the size of your hand or smaller, but despite down here. And we do have about half a dozen species or so I could possibly point out to you, and we'll try to do so as we make our way around the reef. Now, like I said, none of the organisms here are closely related to those over on the Mesoamerican reef, especially about doing that. Not only because they're so fast and large, but they also have quite a nasty habit. They love to follow around or stalk snorkelers or scuba divers. They just linger around you and watch you. Has anybody experienced this, gone snorkeling and had a barracuda follow them around? I think I see a couple of head nods. Now the reason they're doing this is because you're an incredibly clumsy swimmer. I don't care if you're Michael Phelps. Compared to all the fish down there, we're certainly not the most graceful things that have ever entered the ocean. And barracudas are aware of this, and they take advantage of it because as we swim around, we tend to stir things up, scare smaller fish out of their hiding spots, and those barracudas get themselves a free meal. Now, that's not to say that nobody's ever been bitten by a barracuda. That has happened before. Most of them happen on land, where people catch a barracuda on a fishing line. But we've had ones occur in water, mostly in real poor visibility water, which we don't have here. But even in our crystal clear water like this, we have had one incident I know of off Key Largo where somebody got bit by a barracuda. And that's mainly because the gentleman that got bit wasn't exactly doing the smartest thing. He took a large bucket of bait fish down there and went to go scuba diving and put on what's known as a creature feature, put on a show feeding a bunch of the large predators like those barracudas. Now he got the idea to take his scuba regulator out, put one of those bait fish in his mouth, and allow that barracuda to swim by and grab it out. Now the barracuda was more than obliged to do that, did it successfully, but also successfully got a bit of that man's chin with that bait fish. Now he was alright, he did require a couple of stitches to suture up that wound, but hopefully he won't get chubs, those great fish that look like they were swimming from side to swim. Looks like they're heading over towards the other side. Do we have all those coming into view? Did you guys get them to the back of the viewing walls? Now the big silver ones, the bright shiny silver, those white edges, that actually signifies new growth. Well, let's go back to to those bicolored damselfish. They're going to be one of the smallest damselfish species we see down here, but that doesn't mean they're any less aggressive. In fact, they're probably one of the most aggressive ones. They will attack absolutely anything that encroaches upon their territory, regardless of how much larger it is. They'll even attack things as large as you and I without hesitation. And believe it or not, they're almost 100% successful at chasing things like you and I away. And if you went down there in your full scuba gear, went up to a bicolored damselfish, and approached its bit of territory, it's going to try to scare you off by quickly swimming back and forth towards you. Now, all the scuba divers and snorkelers, this seems to have the opposite effect. They tend to move in a bit closer, see what this crazy little fish is doing, or at the very least linger around. At that point of this stuff, because we do have exceptions. Also, touching a living coral is one of the easiest ways to damage it. We're actually seeing one of those exceptions right now, so I'll try to point it out. Move down to the top of the reef, and you see all this rust-colored coral? It looks like hard patches of cabbage or romaine lettuce scattered throughout, especially towards the back of the viewing walls. Starting to come over some more in the front of the viewing wall as well. This is called fire coral. And if you're going to remember one coral species out here today, this is a good one to remember because it is one of the ones that has stinging cells large enough to pierce your skin. And if you touch it, it will do exactly that. They'll then secrete a toxin in you and burn like fire. Hence the name fire coral. And if that's not bad enough, they'll give you a nasty rash that can last for several weeks and frequently does scar. Which is why we like to call this the protector of our reef, because if you touch it just once, I can pretty much guarantee you're never going to touch another coral again in your life. And we consider that a real good thing. Like I said just moments ago, touching a living coral is one of the easiest ways to damage it. Not only can you crush those little delicate jellyfish-like creatures, but you're also going to damage the protective mucus coating that all corals have on them, in turn making it susceptible to all kinds of fish. An awful lot of sand castles. I don't know what's crazier. That's how we get most of our sand. You know, we have people choosing down here to come down and measure and study this kind of thing. I want to talk about these soft corals. You see tons of them swaying back and forth down there. I'm sure some of you might be wondering what these particular...
Well, different perspective. I can go to the back. Now. Silly, I was filming.
Oh, God.
Got this little that extremely loud signal horn, so you may want to cover your ears again or just not be alarmed.
Whoa. Damn, that was loud.
Very loud.
Something up?
No?